good, y'all, and welcome to my review for this week's episode of My Hero Academia. As you guys can see, I'm back to normal, more or less. Still completely over the cough, though, but hey, you know, I'm able to talk normally again, so, the energy is back, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, guys, this was a fantastic episode. Once again, the next episode preview for next episode is once again the title is in English division. I don't know if that's just going to be the thing for Season 7. From this point on, they're just going to have all the titles in English, or if this was just like, a weird thing with just these two episodes. But regardless, man, this episode was absolutely fantastic, man. We finally got the iconic Izu Ocha moment that I've heard a lot about. That was a really cute moment. That was definitely one of my favorite parts of the episode. We actually got to learn more about Toga, see her visiting her house. With that part of the episode was really close with that. But like those were probably my two favorite parts of the episode, man. And now we are more or less next week, man. We are going straight up into the war. From the next episode preview, we see that we got the flying base and everything, man. We got the heroes facing off against one another, man. We see Shinso is gonna have an appearance next week as well. So next week, man, we jump in headfirst into the battle, man. Next week we are starting the war. Will be starting proper. Also, love All For One's new look, man. Man is dripped out, man. I love his new fit, man. The man is dripped out in that new suit he's wearing, man. He looks amazing. But anyway, enough of me rambling. Let's just jump right into the actual episode. And actually, one last thing before we jump into the episode properly is that there was an interesting thing about the production of this episode and who was the one storyboarding it. Now, the interesting thing about this episode was storyboarded by Kazuhiro Yonda, if I'm pronouncing his name right, which from every tweet I've seen is an outsider, which makes me assume that he's never worked on Hero Walker before, or maybe not even at Studio Bones at all. Maybe he does work at Bones, and he just hasn't worked at Hero Walker, but the way everyone's acting like, holy shit, he was the one that was storyboarding this episode, makes you think he probably doesn't even work hasn't even worked with Bones up until this point in his career. But I could be wrong on that one, but yeah, I will say the storyboard for this episode was fantastic. I really like the storyboarding for this episode, man. Now, we start the episode off pretty interestingly, where we start off with actually Toga visiting her childhood home. Now, unfortunately, we never find out what happened to her parents, since, the whole thing that happened with Season 5, when her quirk awakened and the blood and everything, man. It would have been, and like the murder and everything, it would have been nice if we figure out what happened to them. Did they kill themselves? Because that's a very constant theme throughout her house, is that there's a lot of spray paint and graffiti saying the only way to atone is to die, kill yourself, etc., etc., etc. Which makes me wonder if, like, they did kill themselves, or if they're, like, in prison. Did they go to an insane asylum? Are they currently chilling at one of the various evacuation centers, or whatever those places are called? I'm not sure. It would have been nice if we got some sort of explanation of what happened to her parents. But yeah, the people that graffiti her out, bro, they were very thorough with it. There is graffiti in damn near every single wall, everywhere in this house. Like you have die, blood sucking devil, go away. They also decided to play a game of tic-tac-toe while they were busy graffitiing this house, which I thought was interesting. Someone drew a picture of shit, and as she's walking up the stairs and like exploring her home, we get some narration from her parents saying like, "Yo, Himiko, your face looks scary. You can't do whatever you want. Do this for your own good, etc., etc." Which I think all of this is reused audio from Season 5, but I could be wrong. This is also one of the times we see the only way to atone is to die, etc., etc., etc. Apologize. She eventually goes, and we also see someone say vampire family, which, to be fair, is a pretty fitting description for Toga, man. She basically is a vampire, sucking blood. She got fangs and everything, man. I don't think that is a far off a description of her. But as she continues onward, she eventually gets to her room. We get a little flashback to when Toga was a child sitting in her bed. She wants to be a little birdie. All smiles and dimples, so lovely. And while all this is going on, while she's talking about wanting to be a bird, she bites her fucking hand! Or more specifically her arm, or I guess maybe her wrist. But literally, she like bites her arm and it's just like, oh yeah, blood is just coming down and she's like, yeah, she's just drinking her own blood. Like, is this a common thing with Toga, man? I feel this is a common thing, like every night she would just be like, I feel bad for her parents, bro. Imagine having to get blood out of these sheets, bro. Like, it must have been a bitch to get the blood out of these sheets, man. While she's just like, fantasizing about shit while she's just drinking her own blood. Like, what the fuck? And anyway, man, this just gets weirder and weirder. And she mentions that every night she dreams of a red sparrow dancing, tap dancing on her tummy. And after a while, it starts pecking into her belly button and then starts dancing inside her. She gets dyed red, and I become so cute as we see those, like, death flowers coming out. I forget what they're called. I think they're called spider lilies or something along those lines, I think, actually, is the name of this flower. But you guys already know what I'm talking about when I say the death flower. So, yeah. That's fucked up. Like, I was really, you guys will obviously see some of the reaction to the episode, man. But yeah, I was obviously shocked and kind of horrified by what I was watching and be like, what the fuck? And then we get one last shot of her, and then we see like there's more blood around her face. Like I said, some of it has gone on her sheets, which like I said, it must be a bitch to get the blood out of those sheets, man. And yeah, she says the dream feels good and it makes her happy. I guess. So then she says they've abandoned everything, huh? And then she eventually says, like I said, I wish we got some sort of explanation what happened to her parents after everything that happened with her. But unfortunately, we do not get that. But then we find out after she leaves that we see that Dobby is chilling on like one of the windows on like on the building, like right across the street from her, man. Which he's just chilling there, man. Actually, Horikoshi Sensei actually posted a new illustration on his Twitter, a new sketch on his Twitter that actually had Toga and Dobby on this like window seal that Dobby's currently chilling at. And Dobby says that Dobby is shocked to learn that even Toga has a heart with feelings. And then Toga retorts, I was just wondering what happened to my house. That's completely normal, which, to be fair, that's probably the most normal thing Toga's ever done in the entire series. If I'm being real, man, that is probably the most normal thing. And then Dobby burns her house down for some reason. I don't know what exactly compelled me. It just felt like burning shit today. I'm not exactly sure. But this cut was really cool when Dobby like dives off the window and lands down. He like uses his flames to soften the blow and get back on his feet. And this was probably my favorite cut in the episode, man. This looked really cool. I liked how this was done. And then we find that actually Toga actually has some of twice his blood. I don't know exactly when Dobby was able to get this blood. We know he got it sometime before Makia whisked him off. So I'm assuming this was during season 6. During the whole fight with Hawks and everything, man, I would assume. But yeah, I don't know when he would have gotten the chance to like get some of his blood, but maybe I guess he grabbed it from like his corpse when he was dying, man. Got some of the blood that was dripping down from the floor he was on. Okay, there we go. We got it. But yeah, she has twice his blood, so she can use his corpse whenever the time comes. So yeah, that's going to be crazy whenever we get to that point, because you know it's going to get used at some point during the episode. So then we head back over to All For One's little base of operation, man, his little underground lair he's at. And we see some weird shit going on with Shigaraki, where we got like a bunch of hands coming out of like this dark cave, one of the dark hallways in this cave that they're in, before they go away. This looked to be CGI, but it looked really good. Before we just see Shigaraki's body with his long hair and everything. And then All For One tells him that Shigaraki is recovering nicely. And then we can find out, we also see that Spinner is there as well. So yeah, he left this little like hideout area he had to he's now in the bunker. He continues on talking to Spinner, saying that even his copycat design has become a star to guide other heteromorphs. And then he hands him like this thing. I don't know what it is. It looks like a hard drive, honestly, but I'm assuming it's some device up there that clicks on to set things in motion. I'm not exactly sure what this thing is or how this contraption works, but hey, there we go. Anyway, after that, we head back to the evacuation center in UA, which does UA look a lot bigger than it usually does, like before? Like, I'm pretty sure President Mike did say they did expand UA for the evacuation center to make an evacuation center, at least. That might be why, but it looks bigger than it has previously, but maybe I'm just going crazy. So then we found that actually All For One actually has more informants than just Aoyama and his parents. We see a couple of them right here, where they mentioned where the dude kind of discreetly walks up to this one and be like, hey, receiving orders. She's like, yeah, what were they? And it says he anticipates that we will not be able to do whatever we want. Get those in opposition who are still lying dormant involved. UA already knows that Tomura Shigaraki will be able to move again in a week. They're hiding the fact that the crisis will be upon us soon. And then we hear All For One saying stir things up so that Izuku Midoriya will not be able to return to that stronghold. And then we find that Izuku and a bunch of the other classmates of Class A joined the search party and finding the League as well as the Liberation Front. And while they did not make any headway on the Liberation Front or the League of Villains, they did grab a bunch of children. Also, the storyboarding here was really nice. I really like this shot of Bakugo when he just incinerates somebody. I'm assuming it's going to cut from him to Shigaraki, or maybe to him from the dude getting incinerated to Bakugo, but it could have been Todoroki as well. Either way, someone gets incinerated, and this shot of Bakugo looks really fucking cool. So then we get back over to Yue, and Kaminari, the man, is dead. He is absolutely dead from all the surgery he's done, and then we do find out that yes, Ida's helmet does move does detach itself like Iron Man's helmet, where you can have the top part go in the back, just leaving the bottom part. So thank God it can do that. I was scared that that part was just got removed completely. I still think the look looks fucking hideous by itself, but to be fair, knowing you can't detach, it doesn't look as bad as I originally thought when they released the key visual for him, the new character, the new render form, when they were during the anticipation for releasing of season 7. So it doesn't look as bad as I initially thought it was when I saw it there, man, but, you know, that's good to know. We also actually see another part later on in the episode where you can actually detach the bottom part as well, and it just has, like, the back part as well as us, and I like that look, too. Both those look real good, but it is cool that he can actually, like, his helmet can now, like, transform and, like, move like Iron Man's helmet, man. I think it looks cool. Anyway, Ida being the class president, he tells everyone, like, we need to let us get some rest properly. Our youth is our strong point, and to forget not to brush your teeth. I like to hear J. Michael Tatum say this. And then Mineta comes up to our boy, says, "Don't you want to take some time to talk about dirty things?" Now, to be fair, I don't know what he means by dirty things. I'm assuming porn and shit like that. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm not. And he's just like, not particularly, but I know what you mean. So maybe it doesn't mean that, actually means something else entirely, and I'm the one with the head in the gutter, but it's Mineta. Can you really blame me for assuming that? But maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, we find out, and we also get some narration from Izuku. They hasn't really gotten the chance to properly thank Uraraka for what happened. They haven't really gotten a chance to talk. And right as he's about to like walk up to Uraraka and to thank her for helping him out, you know, with season 6 and like going to bat for him and telling him with the megaphone and everything. Right when he's about to go, oh my, comes rushing in there and cock blocks our boy, being like, and then it also sets Kaminari flying, but like the man hasn't been through enough for one day. And then he just shouts out, "I am here like I am every day!" Man, bro really took offense to, like, I think, what was it, like, Mina or Bakugo or Jiro Soda saying that he isn't really here that often, or when he is, he just instantly leaves. Man wasn't really taking offense to that or was deeply hurt by that to just shout out, I am here like I am every day. Anyway, they think that might have to do with the dead with Aoyama, but we find out that All Might is going to tell them the final plan for the second divisive battle. We then head over to the next morning, and this is when we hear Principal Nezu on the internet telling everyone that, hey, Shigaraki's gonna be up in 4 days. So, you know, for everyone's safety, we're leaving and we're going to an off-site location that we will be staying at for the rest of the duration now. We also get some nice cameos this episode as well. We see the old guy that was in the first episode and also helped out Izuku when he went and returned to UA. We get to see Koda as well as the heteromorph chick. I feel like we still haven't actually gotten her name. I could be wrong that when it happened. I'm pretty sure we have never gotten her name, but she's in there as well. We also see Eric. We got Eric's cameo was a little later on the episode, if I remember correctly, but it was nice to see Koda. And then we also see, of course, the All for One informant as well, shocked by what's going on here. And Koda does talk, which is nice to see. So of course, it'll be nice to hear Cassandra Lee Morris in the booth once again for this episode when he gets stuff. So that's gonna be very nice. And you know, and he asks him like, hey, he asks him if he's really leaving. Izuku tells him, which by the way, I also found this is I'm pretty sure the first time I actually heard the Japanese where he actually calls him Nichan, which I thought was interesting because the subtitles in the dub he calls him Mr. Deku, but as far as I know, Nichan means brother, but maybe it could also mean that as well. I'm no expert on the Japanese language, so, you know, do not take my opinion as gospel, but, you know, that's interesting. That's the first time I actually ever caught on to that. I never actually caught on to that, but regardless, I'm going off topic. Anyway, Izuku tells them he's had enough, that has enough of a break to rest and get cleaned up, and that they're all ready to go. And then the All For One informant says like, "Wow, we did it. We got over something without having to do anything. You fools! If you had stayed here, it would have been harder for All For One to get to you guys." And then we actually get, then once again they do the thing where like the villains are highlighted in purple. We found there's about like, at least from this one shot, about 4 informants that All For One has at UA, which I thought was interesting. And then we get some shots of everyone saying, of like the students saying goodbye to their parents. You see Izuku and Inko, hugging out. You can see Koda in the background with his mom, which I thought was really nice. We see Todoroki with his family. We see Uraraka and Jiro with their parents. Bakugo's mom is just slapping his back. and then we get to see Principal Nezu with Recovery Girl. And then we get to see Eri, and then we finally get to see Eri and Kota interact. Yes! I have waited for this moment to see these two interact, and we finally got Izuku as the one to bring them together. Thank you. I wish this got some actual screen time to it, man, and it wasn't just a still. Was still. Which, by the way, I also got to say, I like the way that they directed this part with the stills, where they had like these like wipe effects going on inside, like Star Wars, which I thought was a nice touch, man, rather than just like going from one left to the right, from one to the next. I thought adding the wipe transition was a nice touch, man. But yeah, this was a really cute moment seeing Izuku kind of like introducing Koda and Eri together, man. Like I said, I wish this got legit screen time, man. We got to hear them talk and everything, man, and be like, "Hey, Koda, I got someone I want you to meet. Her name is Eri," like. It was cute, man, but man, I wish this got legit screen time, man. We actually got to hear them talk, man. I wish this was given a little extra time in the episode, man. I wish, man. But, it is what it is, man. I wish this did get a little extra screen time. Anyway, we found that the new fortress they're going to is called Troy, or the full name is Makeshift Fortress Troy is the full name, which once again goes to, like, Horikoshi and, like, listing things off Greek mythology and everything, man, which is a common thing like Tartarus and other stuff he's listed off, named off of Greek mythology. Also, once they get there, Toru mentions something about they really pay respects to the Heights Alliance design. Who the fuck is Heights Alliance? Like, has this ever been mentioned before in a previous episode? Like, I've never heard of this company or this name before in the context of this year, but maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong, but I've never heard of it. Anyway, man, and then while all this is going on, Sero says, "Oh, I hope this isn't our final resting place," which cracked me up, man. That made me laugh, man. That said, Sero, and I forget who it was that like told, "Hey, don't say that," but like that cracked me up that Sero said that. Anyway, we get back to Izuku, man. He's now settled into his room. He sees Uraraka by the cliffside, overlooking the city, and that's when he finally decides to come over there and finally speak to her. So Izuku asks her if she's done packing. She says, yeah, she didn't bring much with her. Izuku says the same day he didn't bring much, only just brought a change of clothes. And then Izuku finally actually properly thanks her for what she said back then. And, we haven't got much to talk about. I wanted to say I'm really appreciative. Then she gets all embarrassed and shuffling her hair and stuff. And Izuku asks what she's doing outside, and she tells him that he was just that she's looking over the roof in the city. And she says, "I'm weird, aren't I?" And then Izuku, my boy Izuku then just starts showering this woman with compliments, saying you're strong and brave, and your hairstyle looks great on you. You're kind and cool and stuff. This was awesome, man. This was super cute, man. As an Izuku shipper, I approve of this scene, man. Izuku showering his girl in compliments. I approve of this. And then Uraraka continues on when she was fighting 101 with Toga during Gigantomachia's rampage. I said things I thought was just common sense, but she looked really sad hearing them. She's a villain who did this to the city. I mean, not directly, but yes, she did contribute to the destruction. It's not a matter of forgiving her or not anymore. I know that, but I don't know what's common sense for her. I was just saying that I don't know anything about Toga, so I won't forget that terrible scene from that day, so I won't think about anything unnecessary. Izuku says it's the same for him. When he was inside Shigaraki, he saw a crying little boy, which I'm pretty sure, I know I mentioned this before during my review of that particular episode. I believe that was during season 6, but that shot of Izuku, of a kid Izuku looking at a kid Shigaraki who's holding on to his doll, man, is probably one of my favorite scenes in the entire series, man. Like, that has to be like a top 5, maybe even top 3 favorite shots in the entire series. Like, this is such an iconic moment. and I love this shot so much, man. This was easily one of my favorite, all-time favorite moments of the series. And then Uraraka says them we're both weird. now I can definitely see the hype for the scene, man. Why a lot of people were hyping this up, man. Why I saw this scene a lot, and a lot of people were excited to finally see it so you can get animated in the anime, man. And yeah, it did not disappoint. As an anime only man, I am, and as an Eastern Ultra ship man, I am pleased with this moment. And seeing my boy just shower her with compliments warms my heart, man. Anyway, let's continue on with the rest of the actual episode. Then we head over back to Todoroki, where we have him alongside Bakugo, Kirishima, and Ida all inside his room. He says sorry for making you worry, because I think they were worried about Todoroki, because of course, you know, we all know what happened with his family, and he looked a little sad when they were walking in. And the interesting thing about this one is that Ida tells them, or not Ida, Todoroki says, I'm fine now. And then Ida tells him, like, oh, you know, I have an older brother too, and I'm like, bro, your older brother is crippled. He's not burning half the city down, you know, which I don't know if I mentioned this earlier on in the review, but one thing I thought was interesting about Dabi now is that actually the burn on his face have actually extended. Because you guys remember before, the only parts that were burned on his face were like his side, was his jaw area, as well as like his right under the bags of his eyes, like that eye, like right under his eyes. The rest of his face was clean. Well, now on the sides of his face anyway, is now extended through his jaw. Through to that area. They're now connected, and now it burns all of those areas. I don't know if any of that was in season 6. I don't think it was. I think this might have been the first time we've seen Dabi with his new burns, and I thought it was kind of cool. Now, one of those probably due to him doing that that massive flame attack he did at season 6 when he did the whole Dabi dance thing. So I think it might be a reference. So I think it came from that. It could have been something else. Between that, but I thought that was interesting as burns have actually started extending now, and he's now even more burned than before. Anyway, back to the actual episode. Todoroki says that there's no comparing our family. I don't even know what Toya's like. And then Bakugo says it's definitely Udon, the really hot guy. Now, at first, I didn't know what the hell Bakugo was talking about. But I think this is actually a reference, a deep cut reference to that one episode, I want to say season 4, I want to say, when Bakugo and Todoroki were doing their retake exams for their hero license alongside with, you guys know, Inuyasha and Cam. If you guys remember, Inuyasha asked Todoroki what his favorite type of noodles was. I think it was that episode. It was some episode where someone was asking Todoroki what his favorite kind of noodles are. I'm pretty sure it was that episode. And he says that he likes cold soba. So, I think this is a reference to that, and Bakugo actually overheard that, and is like, he's definitely an udon type guy, which, not gonna lie, that's fucking awesome. Bakugo remembers that, man, and this never showed you Bakugo's growth. He's now starting to connect with Todoroki a little bit. They're starting to actually become friends. You love to see it, man. I cannot wait to hear Clifford's version of this, as well as obviously, Justin and Lucy's version for the Uraraka scene, man. I cannot wait for that, man. That's going to be fucking awesome when the dub gets there, man. I can't wait for that one, man. And then Todoroki says, in that case, I'll eat some with them. And we're back with Izuku and Uraraka, and they say they'll definitely stop them. That's when we get to the commercial cards, which we see the new renders for All For One and Uraraka. Both of them look fantastic, especially Uraraka, man. I love that look she's got when she's looking into the side, man. I love this shot. Absolutely love this render of her. We return to All For One. We also see that's 3 days later, which a lot of people assume that this is where Your Next is going to be taking place within these 3 days, because before this we don't see Izuku with his new costume, and afterwards he is wearing his new costume. And I wish we got some sort of explanation of when he got this costume, who made this costume, where he got it from. That would have been nice, but we didn't get anything like that. So hopefully, if movie 4 does take place in this 3-day time skip, hopefully we get some sort of explanation where Izuku got this new costume from. That's my hope anyway, but we'll have to wait and see if that is indeed the case when the movie actually comes out. Anyway, we find out that another one of All For One's quirks he has is a fucking bullshit detector. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, All For One has a straight up lie detector in the man. And shout out to any OG and Joe fans that got their reference about the bullshit detector. Shout out to you guys are OGs, man. Anyway, so he goes on I wonder who that guy was. I think his owner was a boring guy, yada, yada, yada. And we see All For One actually has a phone. He has a smartphone, which I'm kind of shocked by, that he actually even has modern technology. But he's scrolling through his phone and ends up calling Aoyama's parents. And this motherfucker calls them to fetch him some liquor. My man straight up calls Aoyama to fetch him liquor. And man, oh no, and man was very specific and particular about the type of liquor he had. He wants a 40-year Macallan. He says a 40-year Macallan would be nice. Like, bruh, you really out here having them fetch you liquor, bruh? And then she says, and then Aoyama's mom says, I can have my son bring you a bottle that's been aged for 16 years. And first of all, bro, how the fuck you gonna get Aoyama to get this man some liquor, bro? He's 16. And you guys also may remember there was an episode in season 4, I believe it was, when Aoyama sent Izuku the cheese and everything, where you saw him drinking wine. I checked what the legal drinking age in Japan was. It's 20. So where the fuck did the man get the wine? And where is the man supposed to get this booze, man? Are they gonna have him do a super bad thing with a fake idea that's under McLovin? Are they gonna have him do super bad under McLovin? Shout out to anyone who's seen Superbad, man. That's a fantastic movie. Anyway, enough of me rambling about films. So they agreed to this, and they said, yeah, of course, we'll bring you. And also, all for one asked for Aoyama's contact info as well. And so they ended, and they said, until tomorrow, Uncle. I don't know why she calls him Uncle, but she calls him Uncle for some reason. I don't know why. Regardless. Anyway, that's where the conversation ends, and All For One's like, yep, they're clean, no ill intent. We're all good. So then we're head back with Izuku. He's meeting up with Aoyama at some abandoned parking lot for some reason. And we find out that he has been released from prison. They're kind of shocked that this has happened. They're like, how'd you get released? And then we find out that his parents' lawyers, got him out. He must have a very good lawyer. Shout out to everyone that gets that reference. Anyway, Aoyama tells Izuku about what's going on in Japan right now. That he mentioned that it isn't a fight that in this crummy Japan the courts are still working. And then he asked him, what do you think, what's been going on in the world right now outside Japan with it, being destroyed and everything. And he tells him, as he says, he can tell him All For One's true goal. So we found out that the Japanese yen is plummeted in value. A lot of Japanese companies are starting to declare for bankruptcy. What's the interesting thing about this, and some of you guys may know, if you're like me and you watch a lot of anime figure channels, or you just read or you just collect anime figures, you guys may remember that, I'm pretty sure this, and I thought this was very timely because I don't know the exact name, but I'm pretty sure when this chapter first came out with the manga anyway, that this is just around the time when the yen was starting to plummet in value. I think, I could be wrong on the timing on this one, but I remember last year or so that I remember some figure channel mentioned that the yen has decreased in value, and hey, now's the time to get your figures because the yen is decreased and everything, man. So your money your American dollars goes further than they did before. So yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. Like I said, I don't know if specifically when this chapter release was when the yen started decreasing, IRL, or if the timing, or if I'm getting my dates confused or not. But I thought it was interesting that Horikoshi Sensei mentioned that in this episode. Would mention that. Anyway, so he continues on mentioning, we also get this really nice shot of lightning destroyed buildings and people running up to capture money falling from the sky. It's a really nice shot. I love this shot. In addition, all the villains are becoming active at once, spreading and damage is spreading across the whole nation. The world's in a panic currently right now, like the Great Depression or when quirks first appeared. I didn't know. Horikoshi Sensei mentioning his major historical American moments and time frame was not on my 2024 bingo card, but here we are, him mentioning the Great Depression. Anyway, he continues on saying worldwide unemployment, currency collapse, widespread panic. If we lose the strength to enforce long-term policies, we can only focus on the safety of what's in front of us, resulting in war and poverty. And this is why a lot of countries have left Japan to defend their own, because they need to prioritize their own safety rather than worrying about other countries. And so we then see this baseball flying in the air. As Aoyama says, if someone had a quirk that during a drought, someone came in with a quirk that could produce portable water or gas or strength, they could take over the world and become the world's demon lord, obviously referring to All For One. Izuku says that's not right. The world wouldn't allow that. Besides, we're still here. And then Aoyama says, yeah, that's why it has to be the end. I want to protect mom and dad. And then All For One just appears out of thin air. I don't know where he came from. Where did he come out of? That Izuku didn't see him earlier than this, but he just pops out of thin air. I guess the man could teleport like Nightcrawler. or something. And then anyway, he starts clapping like, yes, good job, Aoyama. It was scary to betray your friends, wasn't it? And he's like crying and he's like bawling his eyes out. Isn't it distressing to be trusted? And all that talk about my ultimate glow was great, but you wasn't entirely accurate though. Did you hear about this from your mommy and daddy? Oh, for one, just really rubbing it in there, isn't he? Aoyama says they said they promised we would be happy in your new world. And then Izuku's like, I trusted you. At this point, I am shocked. Like, damn, bro, we got played again. He betrayed us again, bro. Oh my god. And then surprisingly, Aoyama turns around and fires his naval laser at All For One. Of course, it does jack shit to him. One thing I do appreciate, though, is that they did add the onomatopoeias to this, and which you guys know, I've mentioned before in previous reviews. Whenever the Hero Walk anime uses the onomatopoeias for attacks and whatnot, I always appreciate it, man. I always think it looks cool. I wish it was used more often, but I like it. The handful of times they do use it. Listen, I don't know if it has something to do with the storyboard artist edit for that episode, or the director for that episode or not, but I always appreciate whenever it's used, man. I wish it was used a little bit more frequently. And after this one, of course, All For One is shocked, flabbergasted that he got played. Izuku tells that your acting was a little bit too realistic and he had to make it good. And then Aoyama tells him that his acting was amazing too. And then we find that he also pissed himself because he's so scared. Which, at least he didn't completely lose his nerve and still managed to do the attack. But hey, fair enough. But hey, whatever, man. But anyway, he declares that he will fight All For One. And then, of course, and then All For One, he is shocked, flabbergasted by this, flabbergasted the fact that he got played by Aoyama. He's wondering, how did this happen? And I like the little the little red fill they put for that one. Somebody's like wondering, like, what is the meaning of this? And he realized, and he went to go, and he rewinds the thing back in time. Nothing from the previous conversation with Aoyama or his parents had any lies or ill intent behind them. So he's kind of wondering how they were able to play him, but he forgets about that, takes off his jacket like he's a freaking Power Ranger, which looked really cool, by the way. We get a nice reflection shot of Izuku and All For One's helmet, which I've been really digging these reflection shots that we've been getting this season, man, from the new director, man. I think it looks great, man. I've been loving these shots. Anyway, the League of Villains show up, and All For One thinks that they've won the battle, that the heroes won't be getting in here anytime soon. We also found that All For One has Search, which is weird because I'm pretty sure, unless All For One has a quirk that lets him copy quirks, I don't know how I was able to get the move from when Totoro, it seems like Shigaraki still had it, but maybe I could be mistaken and it was always All For One that had it, or maybe got it from Shigaraki between Season 6 and Season 7. Could be wrong though, but you know, I thought that was a little weird how he has Search, but like I said, he could have a quirk that lets him copy quirks or something. I don't know. But anyway, this is when the heroes activate their trap card, and we see a Kurogiri portal open up where we see the heroes start to pop up there. And Monoma looks to be one of them, but I think it might have been Ed shot for that one shot, but I could be wrong. We see Fat Gun, we see Mirko rocking her new look, man, with her mech arm and everything, man. So it's awesome that she's gonna be in there, man. Now, one of the heroes that does pop up that I'm really excited for, we also see Tamaki as well, Tamaki as well as Venture as well, which is cool to see them, that they will be having a much bigger focus in this season, is that one of the Wow Wow Pussycats show up there. More specifically, Pixie Bob. I have it up here. I have the wiki in front of me just to make sure I remember the name. Now, some of you guys are like, Glenn, why are you hyped up about Pixie Bot? You know, up here, you haven't mentioned that you loved her character or anything in any of your previous reviews. Well, it's because of who voices her. That's why I'm excited she's going to be in this season. In the dub, she's voiced by Cherami Lee, who you guys know I absolutely adore her. She's my favorite voice actress, man. She's the voice of Asuna, man. Makoto in Persona 5, etc., etc., etc. So the fact that we're going to hear more of her this season, assuming she actually talks, you know, I'm excited about to hear Cherami once again, hear her walk again, man. Hopefully she'll have a bigger role in this season. We'll see her actually get to do some stuff, man. Maybe get to fight alongside Izuku. As long as she at least speaks in a couple episodes, man, I will be happy, man. I will be satisfied with just hearing Cherami's voice and Hiroaka, you know, just one time, man, even for like 2 seconds. But anyway, that's what the episode ends with Aoyama saying, that's why today we will defeat you here. And this shot was really cool. I remember in the manga, I believe this was one massive double page spread between All For One and between the villains and the heroes, man, and it looked amazing in the anime as well. But yeah, that's where the episode ends. But like I said, we get the next episode preview, man, where we're going to be seeing Shinso in the episode, man, which I'm excited about, man. We obviously have the fight going on there, man. Monoma looks to make an appearance as well, so I'm excited for that, man. And yeah. And it looks like we're also going to see Dabi versus Todoroki for that episode, man, as well. So next week, it's going to be a big episode, man. I'm super excited to see where they're going with next week's episode, man, which what's getting the titles in English again, which I think is kind of weird, but maybe that's a thing now. Anyway, guys, this was a fantastic episode, man. I'm super excited for next week, man. And yeah, I'm super excited for the dub for this episode to drop, just to hear Lucy and Justin's version of that scene. I'm super excited for that one. But anyway, guys, overall, I'm going to give this episode a 9.5 out of 10, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like if you did, subscribe if you're new. Follow me on social if you feel like it. Links to subscribe below. And as always, back for more. See you guys next time.